Hi there. Thanks for giving me some of your time to answer these questions. Do you want to introduce yourself real quickly?
Sure, Brady. My name is Randy Nelson. I am the president and CEO of Gas Tech Engineering. So happy to go through this with you.
Okay, to start, what do you think are a few of the most important qualities of a great leader, and how do you apply them in your role?
So let's see. Qualities of a great leader. Um, Things that I look for in a great leader, and things to apply for me. It would be character, courage, and coaching others. So, character and the idea that as a you are a role model. You are a person that is in a visibility spot. So how you conduct yourself and how you treat others is very important. That's the character aspect. Courage is important to me because you're often looked upon to make those decisions that matter. You're setting goals and visions for the company, so you have to take the courage to take those leaps to do those things that are necessary. And the other one I think is coaching others. Really, it's a matter of how you value others and how you see their growth, and putting them in a spot to help them succeed, giving them all the tools that they need to do their jobs and set their expectations so that they can move forward. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. Yep. How do you motivate and inspire your team, especially during challenging times?
How do I motivate and inspire? Well, first of all, I think it's the critical piece in that, in whether that's trying times or otherwise, is communication. Communicating expectations is probably the clearest thing that helps you motivate and inspire your team in a situation like that. There's also team goals, team rewards, things that pull people together that they know what they're shooting for, and you communicate those goals and rewards. And one for me, I think, is to be present. It is one thing to set those goals as a leader, but it's also another one to be present, be involved, um, uh, and helping them along the way to ensure that they can do what they need to do, to be motivated, to be inspired, to conquer the hill, do whatever they need to do to win. So, okay.
Okay. What do you believe is the difference between a manager and a leader, and how do you balance both roles?
Okay, for me, what I see the biggest difference between a manager and a manager is focused more on tasks, and their, let's call it tactics. So, tasks, tactics, and hands on. Usually their sphere of influence is just a little smaller as a manager's role. So maybe it's a department, maybe it's an objective, but in the idea of a manager, you've been given those certain objectives or goals, but now it's your job as a manager to accomplish those. And how do you break those down into tasks, tactics, and for me, being a good manager means being hands-on and being a part of that, and not just delegating that away. Shifting back to the leadership, it's more strategic. You are setting a little more higher goals and objectives, and you're not so much the one that's doing the things. You're the inspiration. You're providing the leadership and the motivation, and you're delegating those things to your managers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How do you think your leadership style has evolved over time?
Oh man, that's a good one. Uh, Really, I think it's my leadership style has really kind of evolved in the area of communication and confidence. I would focus as those two areas that have really kind of changed over time. I think any leadership or any person in experience, whether you're a head coach, um, a worker at Chick-fil-A, right? So when you start in a job, you don't know what you don't know. And as you gain experience, that confidence rises. Um, and then the ability with which to communicate, not just internally, but externally, because as a forward facing leader, it's not just facing inward to your employees and your team. You're now facing outward to, your customers, your investors, whatever else that you have from outside parties that need your inputs and want to see your vision and your goals. So communication really starts to build, and you kind of build on that and then get confidence in that. So
Okay.
that's that.
What's one leadership decision that you made that didn't go as planned, and how did you navigate through it?
Oh, another good question. Um, One good example for me is post COVID in 22, our leading our company out of that scenario into a rapid growth scenario, right? So in 2022, as getting back into the realm of where we needed to be, we experienced rapid growth, and to the point of where we strained our resources, we strained our people, we strained our supply chain. So rapid growth is a challenging situation to manage, and you have to over communicate. You have to problem solve. You have to help people a little more hands on a situation when they're at challenging times. So as a leader, you have to be more present. You have to over communicate, and really, you're going to take some hits, and you have to be willing to stand in and take the hits and persevere through. So that's why they call them challenging times. But part of that is building your experience and show that the people, as you get through that we're better on the other side. So you can use that to accelerate. You can look back and have lessons learned. But that's a great question, because we're all going to go through those challenging times, and as a leader, you've got to help those people see that, better times are ahead. You got to keep persevering.
Okay. Um, how do you balance achieving team goals while still encouraging individual growth and development?
Team goals versus individual. That's an interesting one. I think for team goals, you're focusing a lot on collaboration, bringing people together, right? That's a team, right? So together we're going to do this, this, and this, and then you come together for those team goals, which are typically a little more general. And I myself like their input and their ways to come up with how to do that, right? That's part of being a team. It's not so much a top down driven thing. That team is going to come up with their great solutions to solve their problems. Individual growth and development, as is, obviously a team. Individual, it's more of a one on one perspective. Now you're going to drive into the accountability. You're going to help that person as a one on one situation say, what do you need to do? What tools don't you have? What do you need? So you're more, I guess you're more tactical and less strategic, in my opinion, from an individual growth and development from team. You need them both, obviously, but they have different aspects. But the one piece that I think is critical to both is accountability. You want to make sure that your team has that sort of reporting. They're letting you know how they're doing. If they're encountering challenges, typically they're timeline driven. But yeah, so it's one on one versus, in my opinion, one on one individual collaboration on a team.
Okay. Um, what are some ways that you are able to keep employees satisfied with the jobs they're doing?
Keep them satisfied with the job they're doing. Boy, that's uh, uh, to keep them satisfied with the jobs they're doing. I think you make them feel highly valued. Uh, whether that, for me personally, that's a situation of knowing who they are, what they do. Every person in every position has a role, and the valuing is in knowing their names or seeing how they're doing. But to get them to know that they matter and their efforts and energy that they do, because they're coming to work, they're getting their stuff done for a common goal and objective to satisfy customers. But to me, it's making sure that you value others and you let them know how appreciated they are.
Okay. Now keeping on that trend of employees, what qualities do you believe are the most important for someone to succeed under your leadership?
Under my leadership, really, I'd go back to my own, what I pointed out earlier. I think uh, character, again, I'll come back to character. The person that's going to do what they say and say what, do what they mean, say what they get done what they say they're going to do. So character and commitment. Commitment is another thing I want to look for in a valued person. Committed to getting things done, and communication. All of that works towards successful relationships at work with others. Did I answer your question correctly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, when an employee is being counterproductive, do you prefer to take more of a passive or direct approach to problems like that?
Um, I can speak from both sides and what has worked and what doesn't work. Um, the aggressive approach is, in my opinion, is the right way. Uh, the passive side of things, at least for me, has resulted in it typically you're dealing with the problem in a different manner, whether that's workarounds, developing other solutions, getting them help, uh, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. The passive idea is typically not successful in my experience. I think while saying aggressive is one thing, but it's more like putting the light on it and then addressing it and helping that person set their goals and objectives to get through it. Um, Hopefully they are, you've made investment in that person, so you want to see them succeed, you want to give them every opportunity, but I guess passive to me means you're maybe not addressing it as properly or appropriately as you should, being the aggressive way. So I would go aggressive.
Okay, well, this was a very nice interview, and I think that's pretty good. Thanks again
Are
for
there,
the time. I appreciate it.
sure, any other questions that you have, or is that it?
I think that's it. Thanks again for the time, and have a great rest of your day.
You bet, Brady. Thanks. Bye bye.